Vancouver just revealed nearly 500,000 square feet of prime land for AI data centers instead of housing. In one of the toughest housing markets we've ever seen, that's a decision pulling a lot of attention. After all, when house pressure can't stay in the city, it moves somewhere else. Today we're looking at why more buyers are turning their attention to Surrey and Langley. A recent survey by Demographia just ranked Vancouver as one of the least affordable housing markets on Earth. If you're looking at that from the outside, you'd think the city would be doing everything it can to add more homes. But the decision Vancouver just made is sending the opposite message. The federal government and TELUS partnered with Westbank to build what they're calling a sovereign AI data factory right here in British Columbia. That means a group of AI data centers that could run on more than 60,000 advanced GPUs and use up to 150 megawatts of power by 2032. To put that in simple terms, that's enough energy to power tens of thousands of homes. And instead of that power going towards people living in those homes, it's going towards cooling servers. Now, if this were happening out in a remote industrial park, we'd be having a different conversation. That said, these factories are being placed directly within dense Vancouver neighborhoods. This is a combined 477 million square feet of prime city land. In almost any other situation, land like that would be looked at for housing, community space, restaurants, or local businesses. Instead, it's going to server racks, and this is landing at a tough time. So when people heard that large, water-hungry industrial facilities were coming into their neighborhoods, it hit a nerve. That's why hundreds of residents marched down Granville Street in late May 2026, and they're treating it like a real change in what Vancouver is choosing to become. Then by June 2026, Metro Vancouver was under Stage 3 watering restrictions due to drought conditions. And stick with me because in a few minutes, I'm gonna walk you through what living next to one of these facilities can sound and feel like. Now, these aren't mystery sites sitting outside the city, but two are specific Vancouver addresses. The first one is at 150 West Georgia Street, right next to BC Place Stadium. Before the pandemic, this site was supposed to become a 17-story office tower, and by early 2026, the housing piece was gone, and the whole site pivoted into a 400,000 square foot AI data center. So you've got prime downtown land, steps from one of the most recognizable places in the city that was once expected to house people, now going to house machines. Then there's 111 East 5th Avenue in Mount Pleasant. If you know Mount Pleasant, you know why this one matters. This is the kind of neighborhood Vancouver needs more of. You've got breweries, local shops, walkability, real community, and the kind of residential density that people keep saying that they want. A building there is going through rezoning to become a bulk data storage facility. That's a large-scale industrial use being dropped into one of Vancouver's most livable neighborhoods. That's the part buyers often don't find out until they're dealing with it. And this disconnect doesn't stay in Vancouver. It also creates a ripple effect that lands right in the Fraser Valley. And speaking of that ripple, if you're trying to figure out where to put down roots in the Fraser Valley, that's what I help people with every day. My contact info is down in the description below, and I'd be happy to walk you through the right neighborhood fit for your situation. So get in touch with me. Now back to where things start getting interesting for buyers in Surrey and Langley. If you're a buyer, I want you to understand this. This isn't just a Vancouver problem. Every square foot of land that gets used for tech infrastructure is land that can't be used for homes. When you take that much housing and mixed use potential out of the downtown core, demand doesn't just vanish. People still need somewhere to live, so they start looking elsewhere. And that somewhere else is likely east in places like Surrey, Langley, and beyond. The local businesses that would have supported those mixed-use projects get affected too. A walkable project with homes, restaurants, shops, and services brings people into the neighborhood every day. A data center doesn't do that the same way. It doesn't create the same foot traffic, it doesn't support the same street life, and it doesn't give you that same neighborhood feel people are paying a premium for. And when that premium starts to feel less connected to daily life, buyers start looking at other options. Surrey was expected to need about 169,000 new homes by 2043 just to keep up with growth. That demand was already coming. Now, if you layer in Vancouver pulling prime land away from housing, demand starts pushing even harder towards the Fraser Valley, and Surrey and Langley are likely to absorb most of it. And when we get to the SkyTrain expansion, the one under construction right now, you'll see why the timing is important, but more on that later. And when it comes to Vancouver's downtown choosing tech infrastructure over housing, it sends a message about what kind of place it's becoming. Buyers are noticing that, and they're looking for a place that feels like it's building around people. Places like parks, transit, schools, daily life, and neighborhoods that work. And the calls I'm getting from people looking at Surrey and Langley right now line up with that shift. The quality of life side is where this starts to become clear. Think about this for a second. You buy a home near one of these Vancouver facilities, and a few months later, you might start noticing a hum, a low, steady industrial sound that runs during the day, through the night, and keeps going year round. That's the part buyers near these sites are only starting to understand. The noise from large cooling fans doesn't come and go the way traffic does. You might miss it during a 1-hour showing, and you might not notice it when you're standing outside for 10 minutes with your realtor. But over months and years, it can change how the home feels. The Canadian Centre for Policy Alternatives flagged this in its analysis of the Vancouver data center projects. Their concern was that industrial cooling systems can change the sound of a neighborhood in ways residents didn't sign up for. And that's just the noise side. A facility this size also needs serious backup power for when the grid goes down, which means diesel generators sitting on standby. During testing or during a real outage, those generators run. So now you're adding the air quality, smell, and the kind of industrial activity most people don't expect on residential streets. And buyers are getting smarter about this. When the thing next door is an industrial server operation, paying the premium to be in downtown Vancouver close to one of these things starts to feel odd. This is where Surrey, Langley, and White Rock start to look different. Surrey zoning keeps industrial and residential uses separated, so the kind of data center dropped into a neighborhood situation we're seeing in Vancouver is far less likely to happen here. White Rock has almost no industrial zoning at all, so there isn't a clear path for a data center to be placed next to its residential streets in the first place. They're not just nice words on paper. They can affect what can be built near you, what can operate near you, and what your day-to-day life can feel like after you moved in. I've walked the streets of Cloverdale on a Monday morning, and it's quiet in a way neighborhoods used to be quiet. Predictable, settled, and comfortable. And when you buy there, the neighborhood feels like what it says it is. So when making a decision this big, that kind of certainty matters more than most buyers realize until they're already living there. The infrastructure going up around those quieter streets is the other side, and that's what we're getting into next. Surrey and Langley didn't just become good places to buy by accident. They've made some clear choices, and buyers can feel these choices when they start spending time in these communities. You see it in the roads, in the schools, in the new homes, the parks, the transit plans, and the way these cities are getting ready for growth instead of trying to catch up after the fact. The province recently committed $2.88 billion for the new Surrey Hospital and BC Cancer Centre. BC Hydro is also doing major upgrades across Surrey and Langley to support tens of thousands of new homes. And Surrey has been exceeding its provincial housing targets, which tells you something important. The city is also on track to pass Vancouver as the most populous city in BC by 2027. And what about transit? That's the piece I keep coming back to when I'm talking with buyers about the long-term value. The $6 billion Surrey Langley SkyTrain extension is under construction right now, with all 8 new stations being built. It's expected to be finished in late 2029, and it will connect Langley City Centre to downtown Vancouver in about an hour. So if you're the buyer who wants a yard, quieter streets, and more breathing room, but still need access to Vancouver, this changes how areas like Surrey and Langley feel. The SkyTrain isn't just about the commute. It's about the communities being planned around those stations that include parks, community centers, and new schools. You don't always see that in cities that are trying to figure it out as they go. In Surrey and Langley, buyers are looking at the space, the yard, the neighborhood, the feel, and the price, and they're choosing it because it fits the lifestyle that they're trying to build. The market right now is also giving buyers more choice and lower prices than we've had in the past. Inventory is at a level where you can compare options, take a breath, and in some cases, yes, that's right, you can even negotiate. That hasn't always been the case here. Right now, modern townhomes in Langley's Willoughby Heights are selling in the $800,000 to $900,000 range, and detached homes in Surrey's family-friendly neighborhoods are in the $1 to $1.3 million range. And in many cases, you're getting more space than you get in Vancouver for less money than you need to spend there. That's the trade-off buyers are looking at. And right now, for a lot of families, it's starting to make sense. Vancouver is making a choice, and buyers who are paying attention are making their own choice too. What Surrey and Langley are building right now lines up well with how a lot of families want to live. If you need help deciding if living downtown or living in the Fraser Valley is right for you, get in touch with me today. I've been selling real estate here for over 23 years, so let me use the knowledge I've gained over that time to help you make the right decision. Send me an email at info@moteam.ca and we'll figure out things together. And if you want the full picture on what's driving the Surrey and Langley market, the neighborhood breakdowns, SkyTrain expansion, and where I tell my own family to look right now, I've linked that video right here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you over there in that video.